marriage after 60. 7 things a narcissistic husband refuses to do for his wife. Marriage after 60, at its best, is meant to be a partnership, a place where two people actively support, listen, and grow with one another. But when you're married to a narcissistic husband, that balance isn't simply missing. If you've been married to such a man since you were young, his narcissism becomes even more pronounced after 60. In a healthy partnership, love shows up in small, everyday gestures. He respects boundaries, expresses appreciation, and works toward growth, not control. However, in a narcissistic dynamic, those same gestures are absent, not because he doesn't know how to do them, not because he's incapable, but because those acts of love would require him to share power, to acknowledge someone else's needs, to loosen his grip on control. And that's what he refuses to do. Welcome back to my channel. It's Vernon again. Today, I'm going to reveal 7 things a narcissistic husband refuses to do for his wife. Acts that seem small, but are crucial to maintaining love and harmony in any relationship. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any insights on love, relationships, and life after 60. Let's explore these 7 painful truths that many women face and understand how they can affect the heart of a marriage. Number 1. Listening without turning it back on himself. You know, one of the most profound things I've learned after 60 is the importance of truly listening, not just hearing words, but hearing her. I'm talking about the moments when she opens up, when the walls come down, and she lets you in, sharing pieces of her heart that maybe even she doesn't fully understand. But here's the thing. Listening isn't just about being there physically. It's about being present in the moment. And when you're with a narcissistic partner, that's where the real trouble begins. A narcissistic husband listens, but he listens with a hidden agenda. He listens only to respond, to steer the conversation back to himself. He hears the words, but he doesn't hear the need behind them. It's as if everything she says is filtered through a lens of his own self-interest. When she's vulnerable, sharing her deepest fears or her dreams, he doesn't offer comfort. Instead, he might twist the conversation, turning her pain or her joy into a reflection of his own. And if you've been married to a man like that for decades, you've likely learned to mask your own feelings. You've probably had to swallow your frustration, telling yourself it's not worth the fight. But I'll tell you, it does matter. It matters that you feel heard, that your emotions are acknowledged, without being turned into something about him. The very act of being listened to can heal wounds that time and silence have created. It's in those small, quiet moments where you share a thought, a feeling, and instead of deflecting it, your partner responds with care, with understanding, and even a little humility. In any relationship, being heard is as important as being loved. Without it, everything else can crumble. What happens when that core, that fundamental listening, is missing in a relationship? What does it do to love, trust, and the very bond that holds two people together? We'll explore this in the next section. Number 2. Offering a real apology instead of excuses. There's a certain kind of weight that comes with being in a relationship for decades. The kind of weight that makes you realize just how precious every word can be. How much meaning is carried in a simple, "I'm sorry." And yet, how often do we get apologies that don't really feel like apologies at all? How many times have you heard the words, but instead of feeling relief, you felt more confusion, or worse, more frustration? An apology is meant to heal. It's meant to offer the other person the comfort of knowing that they are seen, that their pain is acknowledged, and that the person they love is willing to make things right. But when a narcissistic husband apologizes, it's not to mend the bond. No, it's to smooth things over, to make himself look better, to take the heat off of himself without ever truly confronting the issue at hand. A real apology is different. It doesn't deflect. It doesn't come with a "but" or a "sorry you feel that way" attached. A real apology is rooted in humility. It's a moment where both people are allowed to feel their feelings fully, without fear of retaliation or blame. You see, excuses are a way to protect oneself. They are a shield. "I didn't mean it," "I was just tired," or "you misunderstood me." All of these are shields that only serve to protect the one who is wronged, not the one who has been hurt. A true apology, on the other hand, doesn't need to protect anything. It's an offering of peace. It's saying, "I know I hurt you, and I'm sorry for that. Let's work through this together." Have you ever experienced a real apology in your relationships? Or has it always felt like excuses? I'd love to hear your stories and reflections. Share your thoughts in the comments below. That's the question we need to answer as we move forward in any relationship. Number 3. Celebrating her wins without competing. When you're married to a narcissistic husband, this simple, profound act of celebration can quickly turn into something else entirely. Instead of sharing in her joy, he makes her victories about him, turning every achievement into a competition, making it all about who did it better, who got more recognition, or who is the real winner. A narcissistic husband doesn't just fail to celebrate her wins, he competes with them. It's as if, for him, her success is a reminder of his own inadequacy, something that threatens his ego and pushes him to diminish her accomplishments. And in that space, where joy should be shared, there is instead a quiet but constant undermining. It's subtle at first, maybe disguised as humor or a light comment, but over time, it chips away at the foundation of the relationship. Instead of being each other's biggest supporters, they become rivals in a game no one truly wins. But the thing is, real love, deep, meaningful love, celebrates the other person's victories, big or small, without any hint of competition. It's the quiet pride in seeing them succeed, not because it boosts your own ego, but because their happiness is your happiness. A healthy relationship thrives on this kind of support. After 60, I've learned that true celebration of one another's achievements is a gift. It's a way to nurture and strengthen the bond, to show that you see them, you value them, and you are just as proud of them as you would be of yourself. As we move into the next part of this discussion, we'll take a look at how competition in love affects everything else, how it erodes trust and distorts what should be the most natural thing in a relationship. Number 4. Respecting boundaries as non-negotiable. Boundaries are not just lines drawn in the sand. They are the sacred spaces where respect, love, and trust meet. They are the limits we set to protect our emotional and mental well-being, and they should never be negotiable. But in a marriage with a narcissistic partner, boundaries are often treated as suggestions, not rules. A narcissistic husband will push, test, and ignore these boundaries, seeing them as a weakness, not as a necessity for the relationship's growth. Respecting boundaries isn't just about agreeing on things, it's about valuing the other person enough to give them the space they need, even when it's difficult for you. It's about understanding that your partner's needs, emotions, and comfort zones are just as important as your own. But in the case of a narcissistic husband, boundaries are viewed as limitations to his control. His need for attention, admiration, or validation often trumps your right to have your own space, your own peace of mind. I think about my friend Rose, who's been married to a man like this for over 30 years. She's always been a woman who values her independence. She's a successful career woman, a loving mother, and someone who cherishes her quiet moments. But every time she tried to set a boundary, whether it was needing time for herself or expressing discomfort with certain behaviors, her husband would dismiss it. Her needs weren't seen as legitimate, they were seen as inconveniences, and this constant violation of her boundaries wore her down. It wasn't that she didn't love him, she did, But over the years, she learned to suppress her own voice in the name of keeping the peace, of avoiding conflict. It took years for her to realize that this wasn't love. Love doesn't ignore boundaries. When you let someone trample over your boundaries, you're giving them permission to control you, to define you. But when both partners respect each other's boundaries, the relationship becomes a space where both people can grow, thrive, and remain true to themselves. Moving forward, we'll examine how this breakdown of respect can unravel trust, erode intimacy, and create emotional distance in ways that are often invisible until it's too late. Number 5. Showing consistent appreciation for the everyday effort. One of the simplest yet most profound ways to nurture love in a relationship is through appreciation. It doesn't always need to come in grand gestures or elaborate gifts. When you're married to a narcissistic husband, those small acts of appreciation are often missing. In fact, they're replaced with a silent expectation that her efforts should go unnoticed. A narcissistic partner often sees the everyday efforts of their spouse not as sacrifices or acts of love, but as obligations that should be fulfilled without question. The laundry, the meals, the emotional support, the constant work to keep everything running smoothly, it all becomes invisible to him. His world revolves around his own needs, and anything that doesn't directly benefit him or feed his ego is overlooked. What's more, he may even use these invisible acts as ammunition, criticizing her for not doing enough or for not meeting his expectations, while never once recognizing the emotional labor and physical effort that goes into maintaining a home, a family, and a relationship. In my own life, I've learned that a relationship thrives when both people take the time to appreciate one another's efforts, no matter how small. It's the foundation that keeps love from fading. And when appreciation becomes a habit, it transforms the entire dynamic of a relationship. It becomes a language that is spoken without words, a silent understanding that you are not alone in this journey. Feel free to share this video with someone you care about, maybe someone who could use a reminder of how important appreciation and recognition are in a relationship. As we continue, there's another seemingly small moment of recognition can either make or break a marriage. Number 6. Creating a safe space for her vulnerability. In any relationship, vulnerability is a precious thing. It's the raw, unguarded part of us, the part that allows us to truly connect with another person. But here's the thing. Vulnerability is not something we can simply offer. It's something that needs to be welcomed, held, and respected. When you're married to a narcissistic husband, that safe space for vulnerability simply doesn't exist. Instead of being a sanctuary where she can let her guard down, the relationship becomes a place where vulnerability is met with ridicule, dismissal, or worse, manipulation. A narcissistic partner doesn't create a safe space for vulnerability. He uses it as a weapon. He may use her emotional openness against her, twisting her words, making her feel small or weak for expressing her feelings. He doesn't offer comfort or understanding. When she's vulnerable, he offers judgment or indifference. In these relationships, vulnerability becomes a risk, a gamble that she can't afford to take because she knows the cost: emotional hurt, confusion, or even more isolation. But real love creates a safe space for vulnerability. It's the kind of relationship where you can show your weaknesses, your fears, and your deepest concerns, knowing that your partner will hold them gently, without judgment. It's not about being perfect or having all the answers. It's about being seen, heard, and accepted, flaws and all. Creating a safe space for vulnerability means offering understanding, offering comfort, and allowing the other person to be their true self without fear of rejection. Vulnerability isn't something to fear. It's a gift. When two people can be open with each other, sharing their deepest thoughts and emotions, that's where real connection happens. It's in those moments of trust and honesty that love grows stronger. Have you ever experienced a relationship where vulnerability was met with care? Or did you struggle with a partner who couldn't create that safe space? Leave your opinions in the comment. Moving forward, let's examine how this lack of emotional safety can deeply affect the intimacy and trust in a marriage, and how it can slowly chip away at the connection between two people. Number 7. Choosing growth over control in the relationship. In the later years of life, you begin to understand that growth is essential not just for your own well-being, but for the health of any relationship. Growth is about evolving together, facing challenges as a team, and becoming better versions of yourselves with each passing day. But for some, particularly those in toxic, narcissistic relationships, growth isn't a shared goal. Instead, control takes center stage. A narcissistic husband seeks to control the relationship, molding it to fit his desires and needs, rather than allowing it to grow naturally. The idea of mutual growth is replaced with a constant battle for dominance, where one person's progress is seen as a threat rather than something to be celebrated. In a narcissistic dynamic, control stifles this growth. The narcissist's need for power and dominance over their partner's life creates an environment where true connection is impossible. Instead of encouraging her to spread her wings and pursue her own goals, he keeps her confined, managing every aspect of her life to ensure his needs are met first. Growth, in his eyes, is a threat to his position in the relationship. Any sign of her personal development or independence is seen as a challenge to his control, and so he sabotages it consciously or unconsciously by making her feel guilty or inadequate for trying to step outside the boundaries he has set. Choosing growth over control is about mutual respect. It's about allowing your partner the freedom to become the best version of themselves. It's about building each other up, not holding each other back. In a healthy, thriving relationship, both partners encourage one another to grow, to learn, and to become more than they were yesterday. As we reflect on the journey through these 7 essential aspects of a healthy, thriving relationship, we see a common thread running through them all: respect. A narcissistic husband who refuses to listen, offer a real apology, celebrate her wins, respect her boundaries, show consistent appreciation, or create a safe space for vulnerability, ultimately undermines the love that should define the partnership. Growth over control becomes impossible when the relationship is driven by self-interest rather than mutual care. To truly love, we must allow ourselves and our partners the space to evolve, to thrive, and to be seen for who we truly are. Only then can we build a relationship that lasts, one that celebrates the individual and the partnership equally. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." In relationships, this freedom comes from letting go of the need to do, control, and instead embracing the beauty of growth, both for yourself and for your partner. In the end, it's not about controlling the relationship or each other. It's about growing together, creating something meaningful, and nurturing a love that stands the test of time. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss any of our content that helps navigate the complexities of love and relationships after 60. This is Vernon. Thank you, and see you next time.